register eventually for day 2?
27 so far on Zoom. In the Eventzilla, we have, just a second, I'm just refreshing. And we're live, by the way.
Yeah. I was just interested and because I can see who's attending and I recognised a few people on there, so I can tailor my presentation accordingly because we've got a few graduates on there and a few students then.
Yeah. For today, we have 37 registered, 27 on Zoom. So I think I'm going to share the link for YouTube. Now I'll share it here with the panelists or with everyone so that you can use it as well. All right. Yeah.
Well, while we're just waiting then for a few more people to come on, so I can get a gauge of the mix of the audience so far. So we've got 4 online. So if the 4 people online, so Bethel, Namisha, Ramsey and Shireen, if you can tell me what grade of membership you are, well, I know what Namisha is. If you can tell me what grade you are, whether you are student, graduate or non-member, it'd be great. If you can just type in the chat box. While we're waiting to start.
Oh, we got a reply from the Bethel.
Graduate member, so Bethel, yeah. Okay.
I'll just start now. We got some more people. We got 6 people. So let's see, Abdullah, I think you need to make me a host again.
Okay.
To share my screen.
By the way, okay, I also changed the settings to be like, for everyone, if anyone wants to share, and also I'm going to give you the host back. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for the second panel of the IStructE Forum. Today's topic is membership in the IStructE. Oops, sorry. We put together a panel of IStructE members who are chartered or fellows in the institution to share with you their experience with membership, the benefits of being a member, and how to become a chartered engineer. For today's panel, we have John Price. John graduated in 1990 from Leeds University in the UK, and he became a chartered engineer in 2000. He has over 30 years of experience in steelwork and construction supervision and contract administration experience in the UAE, Iraq, and India. John has a deep involvement with the Institute of Structural Engineers, which includes being past chair of the UAE regional branch, council member, mentor, and he also sits on the UAE University's industry advisory panels, among other things. Next, we have Mr. Srinivas. Sama has a postgraduate degree in structural engineering and is a chartered structural engineer in the IStructE and chair of the UAE regional group. Having nearly 20 years of experience in the construction industry in the GCC, he has worked on projects ranging from residential, commercial, industrial, and infrastructural projects using the latest technologies such as precast. He is currently head of structural engineering at the engineer's office. Next on we have Giulia Cavallari. Giulia is a structural engineer at Arup and the Dubai's buildings team. She was elected chartered member of IStructE in 2020 and is a member of the IStructE UAE Regional Group Committee. Giulia has a broad international experience, having worked in the UK, Southeast Asia, and in the past 5 years here in the UAE. She's worked on a wide range of projects, including public buildings, theme parks, and sculptures. She is an advocate for digital design technologies and processes to aid design and foster innovation. Last but not least, we have Mr. Nabil Shouki. He is a chartered structural engineer with a bachelor's degree in structural engineering from the University of Aleppo. And he also has a master's degree in engineering and construction management from Harry-Twa University. He has over 15 years of experience in structural analysis, design, and he's vetting for several projects here in the UAE. He worked for several international firms such as PNT Architects and Engineers, China State Construction, and he's currently working as a senior structural engineer at Khaimah Municipality. Mr. Nabil also believes that continuing professional development for engineers is a vital key to their success. Lastly, our moderator for this evening, Ruqaya Aljabery, who is the IStructE UAE Young Members Group graduate representative. Ruqaya graduated from Harry-Twa University last year with a bachelor's in civil engineering. She has since undertook several internships in structural engineering, infrastructure works, and ground improvement. Her broad experience and passion for civil engineering are very evident in her work, and she has previously been part of the ICE student chapter, and currently she's with us here in the YMG. Now, one last thing for our audience before we move on is that if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. We will address them in the question and answer section. I will now hand over to John Price, who will give us a presentation about routes to membership. So,
thanks, Inas.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll try not to cut us all off.
So I made you a host now.
Okay, if I can just ask the panelists just to say, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, you can go to slideshow mode, maybe it will be bigger screen.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Okay. Okay, so look, we've got various people online today. I know some of them, I don't know about 50%. So we've got a mix of students and graduates on here. So I've made this quite broad. So routes to membership. I'm going to start really with student membership. That's me, John Price. Most of you do know me. So I'll skip over this quite quickly. You want this 10 minutes to be productive rather than about me talking about myself. So, okay, for those that are on the line and not a student member, first step is there, right on the screen. Take a snapshot of that, get that QR code, and fill that in. And we're doing well, okay? Now, this is going to change. So for everyone that's involved with getting people online, getting people on student membership, and getting them involved, this is going to change very soon. It's all going to be interactive and online. So in fact, you can register and you'll get your membership online rather than filling in this form electronically, emailing it, and waiting for them to actually respond. So very soon you will see this just online. Okay, so those that are online that have been maybe working for a few years and have just dialed in just to see what we're all about. There's Form G, very easy. QR code, fill it in. It takes a few minutes. Sign it, send some money, and you're a graduate membership. It'll take maybe 1 month to get through the system. Easy. So then all of a sudden, that's the hard bit really, is getting the motivation to fill those forms in. And my screen's disappeared. Okay. So look, there's an overview, very quick overview, a very simple map of each stage of development and career progression. So this is being hosted by the YMG. So we've got people here that are at the student and the graduate level. We've got some of the panelists that have moved on in their career and have just within the last year or so picked up the chartered member. So as you move your way along the diagram, and then there's me falling off the edge. So you've got people here right from student, graduate, chartered member, and fellow, all to give advice, all to ask questions. You can see it's a very simple map. Okay, so I've aimed this primarily at students, and then I'll tweak it to suit graduates. So student member, some of you may have seen these slides before. So there's a community here of 9,000. I think it's more 10,000 now, actually, with the latest numbers. And it's a great time to join. It's always a great time to join. It was a great time to join when I joined in mid-80s. The Institute is here to help you support you in your studies and give you opportunities and resources that will help you get your head start in your career. And if you dialed in yesterday to some of the advice that the panelists were getting, giving advice yesterday, and then it's another thing that's a string to your bow is to be a member of an institute. There are certain companies now that are asking that their potential candidates are involved with institutes or have got an institute qualification. So we'll move on. So it's all about expanding your knowledge, enjoying free access to online resources, which I'll come on to later. And it's about being inspired. So you attend our talks, our conferences, and you can hear from professionals and how we make a difference. And again, yesterday, one of our panelists, Rob, from Oricon, was talking about how to make a difference and how you're making a difference to the environment. You know, it's all about the climate emergency. It's all about sustainability. So it's making a difference. You know, I did my own carbon count today, and one or two people probably well, not disgusted at it, but mine was about 10 tons a year, my carbon, which is lower than the average, which is 13. But apparently a good target is 1. You know, but as structural engineers, when we design a building, that can be up to 100,000 tons of carbon, embodied carbon. So you can see that we've got a great responsibility to the environment. So, you know, it's all about making a difference. And I think one of the important ones on here is meeting professional engineers. So you get involved with membership, you get involved with the committee, you get involved with the local community, and you'll network. You know, so we've got the YMG on here, which are, you know, young, youthful, and you've got the committee that some of us are not. But it's all about different backgrounds. You know, there's a range of diversity and inclusion on this webinar, and it's being involved in a wide range of people with a wide range of experiences and opinions. So, you know, it's joy. Most universities will have a student liaison officer. So with Heriot Watt, you've got Dr. Poirier, with AUD, you've got Dr. Elias, AUS. So every university, major university associated with the Institute has got a student liaison officer that will help. So we'll move on. So once you've got your once you've graduated, then what the Institute will do now is automatically upgrade you to from student to graduate automatically now. You know, so you don't have to worry about, oh, shall I join the civils? Oh, shall I stay with IStructE? Oh, shall I do something completely different? They'll move you into from student to graduate membership automatically. And the first year is free. And there you go, free, and it's free, okay? So it's all about, I mean, it's all about the fact that it's an easy progression then, you know? You don't have to worry about membership. And it's something else that I'll come on to later. In fact, not only is it free, you'll get more than 5,000 dirhams worth of publications and tools to help you with your studies. You know? And there's a little incentive there. I think it's still at the moment, if you get the certificate in structural behaviour, oh, we're giving an extra 1.5 years free as well. So, you know, incentives. So routes to membership. So look, there are 3 routes, basically. A standard route, which is maybe 80% of people, what they do. Mutual recognition agreements through ICE, Engineers Australia, R&D. But generally I find in the many decades I've been doing this, so there you go, there's Everest or Chomolungma, which side you come from, different routes to get to the top. So the 3 basic steps to actually becoming qualified with the Institute. So you satisfy the academic requirements, you satisfy the IPD requirements, and then you pass the professional review. So there are all challenges in each one of those. So you've got to learn stuff, then you've got to work stuff, and then you've actually got to go back and do an exam again and an interview, okay? So the academic requirements. So I'm involved in the academic qualifications panel as well at the Institute. So it's very interesting because everyone is different, okay? You're not just one of a million, you're just one person, and each and every case is considered different, okay? So when I did this, when I was considered so many years ago, my case would be different from Giulia's case, which is different from Sama's case, which is different from Nabil's case there. We've all got different degrees, we've all got different countries, and we've had different experience. And we're all trying to get to one spot, which is chartered. So the basic is you get your bachelor's or your BTEC, depending on from where you come from. I've modified this slightly to suit the region, okay? And then now it's what have you got that's equivalent to masters? So for me, I only got a BEng, but I'm too old, and they were before the days of when Sartor got involved and then decided everyone needed a masters, which was a barrier for some people. So you can get experiential learning. So you can get a BTEC or your BEng, but it doesn't stop you from getting chartered. AQP will look at every individual case and see what have you done in your experience that's equivalent to the masters. So for example, you've worked with seismic loads, you've worked with funny loading systems, you've worked with tall buildings, you've done peak delta effects. So getting to the top, there's many ways to do it, okay? So degrees become, they're either accredited or non-accredited. So if you're affiliated with Heriot-Watt University, you've got an accredited degree with the JBM, the Joint Board of Moderators. So they've come in, they've assessed the degree, went, yeah, perfect. We know what this is all about. So anyone from Heriot-Watt, so the likes of Ruqaya and Inason here, have got the degree that's accredited. But what it is not accredited, you know? So you're in the middle of Pune and you've got a degree, you've got a BTEC. So what happens? So look, it gets sent in, they assess it. They'll say, well, we need to do this bit of learning, that bit of learning, or you need to do a paper on this, 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 and this. As it says there, we've got an individual case procedure. Everyone is looked at personally, okay? So it's very tailored to the individual, okay? You can always contact the membership department, see what your academic eligibility is. They'll either hit you, you're full chartered, you can go for that, or you might be an associate member, just depending on what your learning background is. So what's all this IPD about? So this is one of the hard bits, because IPD takes anywhere between 5 and 10 years to get. So as that slide says, it comprises the acquisition and development of the specialist knowledge and skills, practical application, okay? Took me until I was 30 to get most of that. So usually when you've graduated, 3 to 5 years, if you want to fast track yourself, took me a bit longer. To become chartered, 13 core objectives, civils it's 9, but they're all the same. We're all embedded from the Engineering Council. So they all stem, they're all the same. You have 2 personal objectives, some engineering objectives and some managerial and commercial objectives to satisfy. I'm going to keep this really high level. So anyone that wants to know more, contact me. I can certainly run through your own specific case. There are different levels, A, K, E, and B. So appreciation, knowledge, experience, and ability. So you've got to have certain levels of this. Some you just need to know about various things. Some you really need to have the experience and the ability. It's not like concept design. You need, to, have the ability. Okay. And there are different routes of achieving this IPD. And in my experience of mentoring and doing PRI interviews, 99.9% are retrospectively collated. No one does individually managed, and no one's on an accredited training scheme. Nowadays, I don't know why, but no one does. So you do a retrospectively collated route. So when you go onto the Institute's website and they talk about that, that's what you need to be doing, okay? But basically, as you go through your life, you just collect evidence as you go. You keep projects, you keep drawings, you back them up. I've had one person I mentor, lost it all because their MacBook blew up. And it took them a year to get it all back. So you collect as you go along, back up, okay? And then the professional review. So you'll have a professional review interview and an exam, okay? They're at this time of the year. We'll be doing ours in, I think, January, summer, isn't it? So you've got a professional review once a year, and then the exam twice a year, January, and July. So timing's everything, okay? So the PRI, there you go, it's 60 to 90 minutes, like an interview. You'll be looked at your core objectives. You need to give a brief presentation. It says 2 minutes here. My slide is old. In fact, it's only a few months old because as of just recently, we've changed this requirement. It's now all online, and it might be up to a 10-minute presentation. So that's how agile you've got to be nowadays with the present situation, okay? So yeah, you need to put in an expression of interest for them any time of the year. They're the deadlines for the exam. And then you've got to indicate whether you want to do the PRI or the exam or both. There's the forms that you need. I mean, I'll just gloss over these. We're recording it. You can go through it later. And you don't want to listen to me talking all night either. The exam. So there's two people on the panel here that have just taken this exam. So they're very well placed to ask questions about. 5 questions, you're only going to answer 1. Sounds easy, yeah? Exam's 7 hours, and there's just a quick basic. You turn up just at past 9 o'clock, and you'll finish at 5. And that's it. You're in that room for 7-8 hours. And look, I'll just throw in a slide there. Look, there's a certificate in structural behaviour that you can look at. It's going to help you through your career. It demonstrates your knowledge and understanding of structural behaviour. So, I mean, a few people have used this to put on their CV. If you go through this, it shows that you're a fairly competent young engineer. So maybe that's something to think about. So look, what are the next steps? So I know we've got students, I know we've got graduates on here. And I think basically my advice is make the most of your membership, Read the magazine, there's a lot in there. Read the technical publications, get to technical meetings and CPD. Now when I say get to technical meetings, now obviously we're all virtual nowadays, so the language is still the same. And get involved with the regional group. You've got 2 groups here, so you've got the main committee, which there's 4 of us here, and then you've got the regional groups, young members group, which there are 2 on the panel, and there are a few in the audience. So get involved is what I would say. If I can't answer your questions, Cynthia in headquarters will direct you straight away to the person who can. Generally speaking, if you come to me and I don't know the answer, I'll go to Cynthia and find out for you. So yeah, thank you. I mean, that's a brief introduction to routes of membership and different types of membership. So I'm going to hand you back to Ruqaya. I'll just stop sharing the screen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John, for this presentation. It was really instructive, and I think you've answered most of the questions that we usually receive as a young members group. So thank you for that. Now we're going to move to our panel discussion about Roost 2 membership. To everyone who's watching us now, especially young engineers and students, this is a great chance for you all to get your questions answered by professionals from the industry. So I encourage you all to prepare your questions and write them or type them in the chat box, and our panelists will answer them at the end. Now let's start our discussion with a question to John. So John, since you're the expert when it comes to memberships, so for the students in the audience, could you please tell us how can they make the most of their IStructE student membership?
Sure. So, I've done a lot of talking already, so I think what I'm going to do is I'll share this. It's something that I use with a few other presentations that I have got. So look, what are the benefits? Okay. I mean, there's 5 there, and I think actually they are not in order. And I'd like someone to try and put them in order, but I don't think you can. For me, I think the most important thing on there, one of the biggest benefits of membership, you can Google everything that you want, I think, in this world, but you, right at the bottom, get involved with a regional group, main committee in the young members group, get involved, meet professional engineers, not visit sites at the moment or attend lectures, but this is all virtual now. So I think that, for me, out of all of that is one of the most important things, because you're becoming part of a community. And I'm talking about a global community, okay? There's 30,000, more than 30,000 engineers in the Institute of Structural Engineers. So, and we've got 400 or 500 in this country. So I think for me, regional group, okay? All right, you get access to the magazine. And I think some of these people don't really realise you've got the Essential Knowledge series and the Structural Behaviour course and Technical Guidance notes, okay? And people don't realise how much information is there. So the Essential Knowledge, you've got access to 19 documents that go on about structural engineering fundamentals. So as students and even graduates, all that on the right-hand side, you've got all access to all of that. So there's information there from actually what are structures, historical development, lessons from failure, materials, analysis. So there's all of that. You've got the structural behavioural course, which I was talking about before. As well, there's a course there that's free for students. Again, it's yet another thing you can put on your CV. I've gone through this behaviour course, I've passed, I've got 100%, you put it on your CV, I'd automatically go, right, great, this is a great candidate, okay? I don't need to really question their ability of what they've learned because I've got a certificate. You've got access to technical guidance notes, and there's 34 of them, okay? And develop your basic design skills. People don't realise all of this information is there. The slide would be too boring if I listed them all out, but I've done it just as one big long list. So you can just see there, there are things on there that, it'll help you in your day-to-day engineering life. How to avoid torsion is one, for me as a structural engineer who's specialist in steel, torsion's always a pain, okay? So you've got access to all of this, okay? And what else? And that's it. There isn't just that's it. That's worth about 5,000 dirhams, all of that. But for me, the priceless one is the committee. Your local, your regional committee. For me, I think that's one of the biggest benefits of student membership. Getting that exposure. I didn't have it as a young engineer, so make most of it. I think that's about it, Ruqaya, I think.
Great, thank you so much for the comprehensive answer. My next question is directed to Sama. So Sama, during the initial professional development, the members can have a mentor, or let's say a senior engineering professional. So in your opinion, and from actually your experience, how can mentoring students and graduate members help them during their route to membership?
Good. See, more or less, John has covered many, but I can explain to you in a mentorship point of view. In general, a person or a student who are aspiring for a structural engineering as a career, definitely I can recommend IStructE, where is a global organization where you have a professional engineers available across the globe. We are about 28,000 structural engineers working for all the countries and mega projects and all the projects in the world. So coming to mentorship, as I said by John, IPD is the one which is for the graduate members where you in line with the chartership. So IPD has got 13 core objectives. So coming to a mentorship, there are 3 ways to go for the basically to progress the chartered career. So out of 3, I recommend basically this exam is about professional skill set to check at least 5 years of experience wherever you work. Either you select a mentor and work with him, or else you learn on your own, meaning you self, it's called a retrospective correlated experience. So meaning you are learning from yourself and you are presenting the document or presenting your skills or certain objectives. So coming to your mentor selection, you can select across our member group, available about 400 plus people in UAE region. And if not, most of the people here expats, maybe 90% expats, you can have 2 mentors as well, but you can promote as a 1, you can mention as a 1. But regarding learning, you can refer to 2-3 people across your where you origin from there also, as well as locally. That's about mentorship. So coming to about core objectives, see, as I said, there are about major 3 core objectives as a personal or engineering as well as management skills. In personal, generally we are looking about institution as well as communications, which is as an engineer we expect to do minimum standard. We are not so critical like ICG, other chapters or other engineering organization. We're thinking about more of a technical. Second is about engineering. So engineering is a core objective for you. So this is the where you require a mentorship and support from your seniors. So this consists of your concept design and analysis and design capabilities and other technical aspects of your professional growth. For this, basically require your mentorship. For this, you can select any of from our group by connecting with the region, and we have a pool of people available in the regional group. So at the student level, I strongly recommend to progress in chartership a structural behavior exam, which is very important. Earlier, it was not available. About, if you ask me, if I'm correct, about 10 years back, it's not exam available. This is a very good exam to progress towards a chartership, and all the reference material available. It will be good for the not only for growth towards professional chartered engineering, at the same time to learn or progress your career technically as well. So hope I answered your question. Maybe a graduate member who are already employed, who are working with all of the chartered members, obviously you'll get easily a mentorship. But people who are working in a single man organization or where the people are less, this is a challenge. So those professionals we require maybe online or support from which is required from away, or they can meet on a monthly basis or weekly basis as per their convenience and prepare for the IPD or IPD skills.
Thank you so much. That was very informative. So the next question is going to be especially to Giulia and Nabil, since you have both obtained your chartership this year. I want to ask you, what has the chartership added to your experience as a structural engineer? And what do you think will happen in the next 5 or 10 years? And by that, I mean the influence of the chartership and its importance in the industry and you personally. Giulia, it would be interesting to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So I would like to cover 2 aspects. One is the value of the process, and one is the value of being chartered. So the process of becoming chartered has really helped me to raise my level in engineering, especially in concept design, where I was a bit weak. I had to spend a lot of time focusing on this aspect, and it forced me to diversify my knowledge, as my background was from a very specialized field. So for example, in my daily work, I was designing mostly post-tensioning, but to go through the exam, I had to cover design of steel structures and a lot of other things, which were not in my daily life. So this has really helped me to diversify and broaden my knowledge. And another thing that I've learned through the process of becoming chartered is the importance of documentation and the organization of your work. So it's never too early to start collecting your documentation and go through your IPD one by one, as in the end you will need to build your portfolio. So you need to start doing it as soon as possible, even when you're still a student. Why not? And last from the process is the importance of mentorship that Sama just covered. It's really a key aspect in your journey to chartership. You need to have a solid mentor next to you, and if you don't have one, you have to go and look out for it. And about the value of being chartered, for me, this is very personal. I was in between changing jobs when I became chartered, and this really helped me with my new job, because it's a standard recognized, and once you achieve it, your level is recognized. And it also really becoming chartered helps you to build your network with high-level engineers, and you have a lot of connections around you that can help you in different topics, and the community is becoming stronger. So what will happen in the next 10 years? Can you repeat the last part of the question? Sorry.
That's all right. I asked you, what do you think will happen in the next 5 or 10 years? Like the influence of the chartership and its importance in the industry.
I hope the importance of the chartership will become stronger in this region, as not all companies recognize the chartership equally. So it's important that the visibility of the importance of the chartership is recognized at the same level across all engineering firms and authorities.
Thank you so much, Giulia. Nabil, do you agree with that, or you have other thoughts?
Totally agree with Giulia. I will just add some another points from my point of view. Chartership adds to me a critical understanding of the structural engineering process and how to think big with broader insight during all duty engineering activities. It boosts my self-esteem and confidence in my independent judgment and decisions as a structural engineer. In addition, chartership provides me an international evidence of expertise, where it shows employers, peers, and the public that I have spent a number of years to develop my skills, knowledge, and understanding within the field, and have clearly demonstrated my professional competence and commitment. My career forecast for the next 10 years is to play a lead role in the design team, able to solve complex structural problems, and to demonstrate the technical, managerial, and leadership skills needed to achieve any project successfully. That's it.
Thank you so much. That was a great answer, Nabil. Now, next to the next and last question, which will be directed to all of our panelists. I think all of the engineers in the audience are curious, just like me. I want to ask what has helped you to get where you are right now, and like had an influence or an effect on your career life, or even you as a person. And what advice would you have for those who want to set off in a similar direction?
Yeah.
Yes.
You want me to take up?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So good. It's a difficult question. It's more of a personal choice. I put it that way. So I don't know. Currently, the trend is towards IoT and all this hi-fi things. Structural engineering is a basic engineering from existing from many years in different forms. So in my view, the person who's interested towards structural engineering, first you should love the job. If he put his 100% effort, I'm sure he will be happy to progress in the job. Reason being, structural engineering is all about you can feel your project when you deliver. I'm sure other disciplines also feel it, but they cannot be in a public place. So I started loving my structural engineering after my graduation. Before that, I was thinking of going towards IT to change from civil engineering to IT. But some reason when I started my career as a assistant engineer in back home Tata Consulting Engineers. So when I started a couple of projects, I did underground structures. I cannot see anything above, So at that time again, it's boring. So part of that project, we have a project, a superstructure, some process building. So that made me to think, oh, it's constructed, that created interest. So from that day, I decided, okay, this is my field, I should continue. So what I can say in principle, people should have a feel of engineering and should have interest, whatever their interest, they should choose the job and they should work 100%. I'm sure wherever you want to progress in your career, you should aim it and work towards that. Accordingly, you can achieve your objective. And another point is now options are many, plenty of opportunities are there. Changing our own engineering or any opportunities depends upon your interest, basically. Thank you.
Thank you. That was impressive. Let's hear now John's perspective, maybe.
Sure. So I'll turn it around and give the advice first, because that leads on to how I got to where I was. So, and I think the advice is, and it goes back to the slides that I was presenting before. Get involved with your local regional committee, whether it's joining it or being a part of it or getting and networking with those people. I graduated, I went into the steelwork industry, and then I got involved with the local committee virtually straight away as a young engineer, like yourselves, so like you, Ruqaya, like you, Ines, and like a few others that we've got on the call and on the webinar. I got involved and I was on the Lancashire and Cheshire branch not long after I graduated, and on the committee. So I've been in committees for maybe 30 years. So I think that's helped me to get where I am today, by being able to network, by being to sharing knowledge with other engineers. And it doesn't matter where I am in the world. So now when I started on that committee 30 years ago, or involved with that committee, I'm meeting some of those people now in headquarters who've done the same thing. So we've started our career a few decades ago, and we're catching up a few decades later, still involved and still giving back into the community. So for me, it's giving back into the community for other engineers, that experience. But I got that because I was getting involved. So I'd say get involved. The more you get involved, well, I've managed to travel the world with structural engineering, and I've managed to run committees and run conferences and be involved with education, which is another passion of mine. So I think my advice is get involved. I think you've heard enough from me now, I think.
That was a great answer, John. Thank you. Giulia, what do you think?
I will also answer in reverse. First, the advice. So my advice, if you're thinking about getting chartered is definitely do it. And it's going to be tough and definitely tough. But the end is going to be very satisfying once you see the exam and all the professional review behind you. You can really see your progress in just quite a short span of time. It will take 1 year to do all this, but you will really see your progress. And these has really helped me to get to where I am at the moment. And it has helped me with discipline and confidence and visibility. And for example, sharing on video with other people about my experience is something I would have never done 2 years ago. And it's something that I have acquired through the process of becoming chartered, with the people I met along the way and with the connections I've made in the past few years by being involved with the community.
Which is a great video, by the way. I have seen it, and it's on our YouTube channel. Is that? I think that's the one, isn't it, Giulia?
No, I'm talking about like even tonight.
Oh.
That was a great answer, Giulia. Thank you so much. Nabil, what about you?
What was motivated me during the CN journey is that I set a goal to obtain a professional status for my career as an engineer. And I kept working hard to achieve this goal. So my advice, set a vision for your career as an engineer and keep trying to achieve it. Another advice I would like to highlight it to the engineer is that to keep developing yourself by yourself. Don't wait for someone to push you, do so. And be a distinguished engineer. Remember, the current job market offers the best opportunities for those who are distinguished. Another advice here also is to continue professional development to ensure that you remain competitive in your profession. Finally, remember to think big as an engineer. Seek a professional registration somehow, even in UK or America, to get CN or to get PE, professional engineer status. And if you cannot do it right now, continue professional development somehow by internet. Go to the digital education platforms and learn and keep continuing professional development. And if you cannot do it right now, please record your major activities you are doing right now. Maybe it will be useful later once you apply for any professional status. And if you cannot do it, all of that, please encourage others to do so. Whether you are trying to find a new job, get a promotion, or excel in a new career, professional development can help you achieve your career development goals. All the best for all engineers.
Thank you for sharing this amazing advice with us. Actually, my eyes are on the clock, so let's move on to the Q&A. Do we have any questions from the attendees?
Yeah, I think there's one sitting in there, which I'll take. And then
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I'll take it, but then I think the others should answer it as well from their perspective. Because like I said, we've got 2 engineers that have just passed here. And the question is from Syed, and he says, I'm a graduate member of the IStructE. I have a question regarding the approach I should follow for chartered. Should I sit the exam first, or should I go for PRI first? So, unfortunately, this is an open-ended question because various people take it at various times. So I've mentored people that have taken the PRI first, and then maybe a year or 2 later have taken the exam. Some people are very numbers orientated, taking the exam first, and then taking the PRI when they've got more experience, because the PRI tests different things. Okay, and which is the reason why the Institute split them up rather than doing your PRI first, then the exam after that. So, Syed, I think the best thing to do is contact me direct, because what we need to look at is your experience. If you've got 10 years of experience, then you should be taking them both at the same time, okay? If you've got 3 years experience, 4 years experience, maybe 5, it all boils down to most people fail because of concept design and a lack of experience. So this is a very personal question to you, insofar as I need to spend some time to break it all down, okay? So when I took the exam, you had to do the PRI first, pass that, then go and do the exam, which is the same for Sama as well. Whereas Giulia and Nabil had, I wouldn't say it was a luxury, but they could do either. So I think, I'm not too sure which way. I think, Nabil, did you do your PRI first, or? Anyway, I'll let Giulia and Nabil answer and see what they think.
I did first the exam and then the PRI, but I developed my portfolio in parallel to studying for the exam, which maybe wasn't the smartest thing to do in retrospective. So now I will suggest that you keep developing your IPD and your portfolio slowly over the years. And once you feel ready for the exam, go for it, put it behind you, and then go for the PRI. That's my preference, but it's totally subjective, in my opinion.
Thank you, Giulia. Actually, we have another question. I'll read it out. Is there any possible to get or sit with CM if the person is only working in consultant design firm for 1 year only, and most of the work experience in field?
It's a very quick answer.
Yeah,
I can share my experience here. What happened with me, that I have mentor with my last working place, but I didn't go for the self-management route. I was working under the retrospectively correlated route, but in the same times he assigned to me the forms, and he write down some comments just to support my portfolio. But I didn't submit through the self-management route, which required a mentor. I submitted as the retrospectively correlated route, which is not required any mentor, but also he support my portfolio. This is what happened with me, and all the process was smoothly done. Another thing, you have to check with that mentor if he's agree to cover your experience out of the company. Some of the mentors or some of the chartered engineers not accept to sign out the forms required for the chartered membership if they don't know you or didn't work with you for a long time, so they cannot sign. I think the difficulty here to get someone to sign it to you after you leave that company after the 1 year, and then you can go to the first route, which is self-managed route. This is what I have for here. So if gentlemen and ladies have another.
Just to add, see, the gentleman has got only 1 year of experience. My recommendation is just go through the IPD objectives. Sometimes people can be very smart enough to learn their skill set. So let them assess themselves what they achieved, what level they are in each objective. For instance, analysis design, it should be a expert level. So in those in that activity, what level he is, he should check himself. Then accordingly, he can choose a mentor. So generally, I recommend about 5 years experience will be sufficient for self assessment. There's no law, there's no protocol to be a 5 years experience. That's what I know. Rajan, am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. When I used to do this,
so yeah, exactly. So yeah, sorry, there's no minimum experience required, but generally 5 years will give a reasonable experience to cover all these core objectives of 13. It'll be a well-seasoned professional to cover all, depends upon their work culture, what type of company you're working, what type of environment you are, all this matters. But obviously, if a person is aiming for a chartered and IPD, I'm sure he will be work around with that skill set. That much I can say. Thank you.
Also, I wanted to add for the part related to the chartered exam, it will be very easy for you to assess your level. You just go on the website, download the practice paper from the past years and try one. And you will see immediately what is your level and what you need to focus on.
Actually, this is a good point. The exam IPD skill set also useful indirectly in the exam preparation, particularly for section B, where you have a program and method statement. Those areas will be useful, definitely. Yeah, thank you.
I've got another and last question for today. How would having memberships with the professional organizations help with finding a job?
Oh,
what do you think?
Sorry, repeat question. If you're professional chartered,
how would having membership with a professional organization help with finding you a job?
Oh. Can I take the question? This.
Okay, you go first, Sam.
Yeah. So actually, see, this is a global organization. If you go any global engineering practice, leaders are from this institution. The first question is, if a person is chartered, I'm sure you can see the advertisements for structural engineering in particular. They say preferred chartered or chartered in process. That type of advertisement you can see in the positions for structural engineering. I strongly see that the very good opportunities for the chartered engineer at young age, rather than later age. That much I can say. So opportunities are very bright. Even people who are interested for chartered engineering in the process of to be a chartered or after chartered. I know some of the companies once you're chartered, they will provide some special increments and etc., which I don't want to go further details, but in general it is okay. So overall, the chartered status for a structural engineering profession from this institution in particular, strongly a great opportunity for the professionals to progress.
Can I add over and above that as far as being a member from whatever grade you are, again, and it sounds like I'm on a high horse here, but being part of a community. So if you're so you've got membership and you're involved with the local engineering community and that membership, then getting jobs is easier because you've got a network to pull from. They're advertising jobs, the word of mouth jobs, and then there's open forums like ours, the WhatsApp groups that we've got, and the social platforms that we have. So being part of that community will help you in getting a job, whether you're chartered or not, or whether you're a member of whatever grade. It's going to help you. It's not going to hinder you from getting a job or looking or getting offers. So it's, again, membership community. You can see where I'm going with this. You're a part of a global community, is what Sam was saying. We're global, okay? So someone somewhere will know that there is a job doing this or doing that. So I think that's what I'd like to add to that.
Thank you so much, John. I would like to thank you all for being with us here today, and thank you for sharing your expertise with us. So now it's over to Inas to summarize today's event and for the closing remarks.
Thank you, Ruqaya. Thank you to all the panelists for a very interesting discussion. I certainly learned a lot this evening. And thank you to all the attendees and for your questions. We got a lot of information first from the Roots to Membership presentation by John. It really just set it all out there, the whole process and how to achieve membership and how it will benefit you. And I didn't know that the exam, the structural behavior certificate gives you another 1.5 years. So that's definitely convenient.
Your Christmas holiday sorted.
Yeah, something to work on in the free time. And there's a lot of resources that are just available to you as a student member or a graduate member. So throughout your course of study, being a student member is completely free, and you get an additional 1 year if you don't do the certificate, of course, which is definitely amazing. We learned from Sama that to achieve the core objectives, it would be advised to get a mentor, and it's very easy to reach out to the group, and everyone's always available to answer your questions, and it's very easy to find a mentor here in the UAE or have another member internationally, depending on where you're based. So it's not a very difficult process. Everyone's very reachable from my experience, and it's good to have someone to guide you through your membership, you know, through how to reach chartership. So it's very great. We also learned from Giulia's experience, which was amazing, how the whole process of becoming a chartered engineer, not only the final part of actually having passed the exam is amazing, but the process of getting all this exposure from working on different projects and working on different designs and just improving your engineering skills all the way has really added to her. And from what she spoke to us about on how it also added not only her engineering skills, but her personal skills also improved. And she got more engaged with the whole network here in the UAE, for instance. Just as what Nabil also mentioned on how becoming a chartered engineer really put him out there as someone who's an expert in this field. You know, it's known now that, you know, he's a chartered engineer. He's dedicated a set amount of time to improve on his knowledge and to work for the exam, and then he got the chartership, and it really sets you out there from everyone else in the pool. We also understood that being a chartered engineer is a personal decision, of course, if you're interested in structural engineering or if that's the career that you're willing to go for. But to get there, you need to be engaged. Okay, you need to engage with people. You need to make the most out of the resources that you've got here. Again, the regional group and the YMG were very accessible. It's very easy to contact us for more advice on how to get there and how to interact with people and network on LinkedIn or WhatsApp or our Instagram pages. Just getting involved with your regional groups will help you cross that path towards your route to membership. And I think what also Giulia shared with us was how being involved and interacting and putting yourself out there has improved her personal skills. And I think I've mentioned that, but we've also talked about that yesterday in yesterday's panel on how putting yourself out there, whether it being during the process of finding which institution you want to go with or what career you want to follow, but also when you're looking for an internship or when you land your first job, you know, this whole interaction and actually putting yourself out there will help you a lot. And we're all here to help and guide, and we're all learning. And finally, I think a very big piece of information that was shared was continue learning. There are so many digital platforms now available. You don't have to go anywhere from the comforts of your home. You can access a lot of resources from the IStructE library. You get newsletters and you get practice exams. And from all of the CPD and technical talks that we've organized, especially over this year. So yeah, amazing information from everyone. Like I said, everyone's always available if you have any more questions through our Instagram pages or emails or WhatsApp. So thank you all for this very interesting discussion. And yeah, if anyone has any more comments.
Thank you, Inas, and everybody. Ruqaya also did a good job. You know, you brought everybody on the platform. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you all. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Night.